Let's give our praises to the Most High, whose true name in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, whose true name in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, which in the ancient Hebrew is the Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS who taught us the truth by the Holy Spirit. Honors to the brothers risking their life and freedom to push the gospel. Peace and blessings to the elect, who consist of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, who make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel. According to scripture and prophecy, the elect will be 1/3 of the Israelites, who in the last days are returning back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah for salvation. By the 2/3 of Israel who don't seek the Lord in time, be destroyed with America. And that's all according to prophecy. Back with another lesson through the mercy and spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Lesson is going to be titled Energy Lockdowns and Travel Restrictions, Being Idle. So again, lesson is titled Energy Lockdowns and Travel Restrictions, Being Idle. And people may know or not know. If we in the truth, this is all something we should know. America or the world is in the midst of World War III, especially since America and Iran been at it. And it's going on 2 months. And since this war between America and Iran has kicked off, Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz, where 20% up to 1/3 of the world's gas and oil pass through that. So there's a lot of countries, which America is not one of them, a lot of countries are very dependent on the gas and oil that flows through the Strait of Hormuz. So a lot of these countries are already on energy lockdowns. They in the midst of an energy crisis. So what? We're going to see the price of gas and oil going up, which has already been happening. It's just the beginning. You know, gas and oil prices going to triple and quadruple, maybe even more. Also, you got America and Iran attacking each other's energy infrastructures. Both sides blowing up each other's oil refineries, gas and oil processing plants and facilities in Iran and Saudi Arabia and the other countries that's allied with America. You had the largest oil refinery in Texas mysteriously blow up. So it's a war on energy on both sides. That's going to affect the whole world, putting the whole world in an energy crisis. So there's going to be an energy shortage. Meaning what? Limited gas and oil. And what would that lead to? Travel restrictions, curfews, energy lockdowns, grid failure, rolling blackouts. You limited on how much electricity you can use, which will put a strain on every aspect of American life, from entertainment to medicine and health and wellness, work, just American life in general. But we're going to get some information on these energy lockdowns. Let's start with this video here.
Taking territory leaders together again to finally find an answer to the fuel crisis. Some drastic measures similar to the days of COVID could be on the table as the government braces for a worst-case scenario.
People calling this a lockdown 2.0. This is going to be a real one. People still had a lot of freedom and a lot of liberty during the first lockdown. Keep in mind, on that lockdown, you had unlimited use of energy and electricity, unlimited Wi-Fi usage, cell phone usage, air conditioning. You could really drive and travel wherever you wanted. There wasn't no real lockdown, but this is going to be the real one.
Questions fly about fuel supply.
The anxiety levels are as high as I've seen, maybe with some even higher than COVID.
The further measures they will consider based on the International Energy Agency's plan, encouraging 3 days work from home, 10 kilometres per hour lower speed limits, encouraging public transport and carpooling, and odd and evens number plate days in cities.
Then governments around the world are trying to push work-at-home mandates to save fuel. Even the International Energy Agency is trying to restrict non-essential travel. Now, does this sound familiar? In 2020, we were told that lockdown last a few weeks. It lasted years. Now, instead of a health crisis, we could be entering a period of peak energy, and that could be just as dangerous as a virus. The new world will be dominated by the power triad: compute, data, and energy. Energy is the foundation of everything. If oil prices don't start coming down, if geopolitical tensions continue, it will keep impacting supply chains, financial markets, global stability. This is bigger than the COVID lockdown. This is a system shift. Follow me if you want to.
And that's the thing too. As gas and oil prices go up, or on the market, it don't just affect gas and oil prices in America. It affects everything, because everything needs energy to travel from one side of the world to the other. So as a barrel of oil and gas go up, general merchandise and groceries, everything gonna go up, which we already seen that happening. So we got that energy lockdown stuff. So we're gonna actually go to the report. New IEA report highlights options to ease oil price pressures on consumers in response to Middle East supply disruptions. Demand side measures available to governments, businesses, and households span road transport, air travel, cooking, and industry amid strains in diesel, jet fuel, and LPG markets. We get a little bit of this. The conflict has triggered the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market, with shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, which normally carries around 20% of global oil consumption, reduced to a trickle. And really, stuff is getting through, but pretty much if you side with Iran, if you America or allied with America, you ain't getting no oil through there. Around 20 million barrels per day of crude oil and oil products simply transit through the strait. The loss of these flows has tightened markets significantly, pushing crude oil prices above $100 per barrel and expected to reach $200, $300, $400 per barrel. Meaning what? Gallon of gas, price of oil going triple, quadruple, raising the price of everything else. Even driving sharper increases in refined products such as diesel, jet fuel, and liquefied petroleum. Anyways, let's get to the main point. The IEA published an overview of all demand-related policy measures that have been announced by governments since the start of the crisis. This shows many countries are already acting to protect consumers through conservation. Anyways, immediate actions to reduce the demand. Number 1, work from home where possible. This places oil use from commuting, particularly where jobs are suitable for remote work. We saw a lot of this during the lockdowns from the pandemic. A lot of people switched to working from home. And that changed the job market in America forever. A lot of places and businesses shut down because they could just pay people to work from home. Reduce highway speed limits at least 10 kilometers per hour or by 5 miles per hour. Lower speeds reduce fuel use for passengers, cars, vans, and trucks. So is this really about saving oil, or is this about keeping people locked down at home to stop people from freely moving? But again, reduce highway speed limits by at least 10 kilometers per hour. Encourage public transport, a shift from private cars to buses. And trains can quickly reduce oil demand. And as gas and oil go up, people may find it cheaper just to use public transport. Even may go so far to get rid of their personal vehicles. Alternate private car access to roads in large cities on different days, meaning number plate rotation schemes can reduce congestion and fuel intensive driving. So if your last digit on your license plate is an even number, you can drive Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Sundays. If it's an odd number, you can only drive Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That's what that means. So you can legally only drive every other day. Increase car sharing and adopt efficient driving practices. Higher car occupancy and eco driving can lower fuel consumption quickly. Pretty much they making it inconvenient and a big hassle to drive or to travel. So if people like, what's the point? It costs too much, might as well stay at home. But see, the devil, Esau, the so-called white man, he wants you to be idle. Idle pretty much means not moving. But we're going to look at that at the end of the lesson. Efficient driving for road commercial vehicles and delivery goods. Divert LPG use from transport. Shifting bi-fuel and converted vehicles from LPG to gasoline anyways. Avoid air travel where alternative options exist. So yeah, we know how much trouble they're having at the airports. I did the lesson on that. You know, they want to get control of the airports because when they go down in America, first thing people gonna do is hit the highway and hit them airports. So your option of flying around the country or just leaving the country is gonna be taken away. That's why Esau, the so-called white man, he gonna probably shut down them airports first. But you see, he's already trying to limit the use of the airports by making it a huge hassle, inconvenience, long wait lines, high ticket prices. Now you got ICE in the building. But I think what this is going into that I kind of skipped, but they want to switch from gasoline vehicles to electric vehicles. And this energy crisis is justification for that. But we know with them electric vehicles, first they suck, but then they got a kill switch. They can shut them down. Where possible, switch to other modern cooking solutions. Encouraging electric cooking and other options can reduce reliance on like liquid petroleum, etc., etc. But the biggest takeaway to switch from gasoline vehicles to electric vehicles, avoid air travel when other options exist. Depending on your license plate, you can only drive every other day. Reducing the speed limit and encouraging people to work from home. It all sounds good, but we know what Esau the white man is really up to. So I'm gonna get this in the book of Job. Actually, I do gotta get this. Let's get this in the AI overview. I asked it a question. Could an energy lockdown and travel restrictions be a form of a siege? Now, let's look up this word siege. And look, then look at this. A military operation in which enemy forces surround a town or building, cutting off essential supplies with aim of compelling the surrender of those inside. And we know what? America is going to siege its own people and get them to surrender to do what? To get the RFID microchip. Let's look up the word besiege. Surround a place with armed forces in order to capture it or force its surrender. But again, can an energy lockdown and travel restrictions be a form of a siege? It says the energy lockdown and travel restrictions can function as a modern economic form of siege, often termed a soft siege. And see what you had during the pandemic in 2020, that would have been a soft lockdown. So what they're talking about is a soft siege, these energy lockdowns, by restricting essential resources like fuel. There's going to be fuel shortages. There's going to be fuel rationing. There's only going to be so much gas you can get at the pump. No more filling up your tanks. Electricity. You can't have your air conditioning on all day. You can't be cooking all day. You can have the internet on all day. And mobility, meaning what? Your ability to freely move, go where you want. By restricting essential resources like fuel, electricity, and mobility to force compliance or manage scarcity. So they want to force your compliance, meaning your obedience. Similar to a traditional blockade, these measures isolate a population, disrupt supply chains, and halt normal economic activity. And we know what? A lot of people got broke and went under during the 2020 pandemic lockdown. So pretty much when you read these travel restrictions, they pretty much sound like a bunch of people gonna be unemployed. Which that's at an all-time high as well. Characteristics of a soft siege. Unlike military blockades, these are often triggered by conflicts or supply shocks that lead to reduced driving. Then we see that. They say public transport, driving every other day, carpooling, work from home, flight restrictions. You wonder why ICE at the airports. They want to limit the number of flights going in and out. They want to make it such an inconvenience and a hassle, people be like, F it, I'm just going to drive. But that option is being taken away from you. Remote work, that's working from home. And energy rationing, meaning how much electricity, how much gas you can use. That's why they want you to switch from gas cooking to electric cooking, from motor vehicles to electric vehicles to conserve resources. And it's about control. Okay, they say, this can mimic the social restriction of pandemics. Here we go, targeting infrastructure. Similar to a siege tactic, these lockdowns can involve shutting down or restricting access to power grids, rolling blackouts. They said in New York, they may try something that the power grid go down at 11 p.m. every night to save energy. So imagine a whole town, a city like New York, Dallas, no power anywhere after dark. And what does this mimic? Similar to how a city might be starved of resources, because in a siege, no resources, no help can get in and nobody can get out. Well, restricting the use of electricity and gas and rolling blackouts, that will mimic that. While not always legally enforced, like a military encirclement, an energy lockdown acts as a siege by causing economic and daily life disruption, forcing the population to operate in a severely restricted environment. So, a siege is a military strategy that they use. Again, to capture the people, which that's what the ICE detention centers are for. You know who they want to capture? The 12 tribes. To force the surrender of the people, meaning what? That they say F it, and they get the market chip, which is the mark of the beast. So we got that. I want to get this in the book of Job 16 and 12. Keep in mind everything we've read concerning the energy lockdown being the form of a siege. Reduced driving, remote work, flight restrictions, energy rationing, targeting the infrastructure, power going out. This is Job 16 and 12. I was at ease, but he hath broken me asunder. He hath also taken me by my neck, and shaken me to pieces, and set me up for his mark. Wish you at ease. That's the right now. Second Ezra said that people should think themselves to be in good case, because victuals be cheap upon the earth. So people think they can go to the grocery store and buy what they want. They got a payday coming up in a couple days. They got a weekend or a day off coming. Life is normal, so everything is all good. This is you at ease. You doing as you please. You can get up and leave whenever you want. No limit on your travel. No restrictions on your energy usage. It say, I was at ease, but he hath broken me asunder. What does it mean to break you asunder? It means your life is no longer at ease, but everything is a hassle and an inconvenience. Restrictions, limitations, lockdowns. But he hath broken me asunder. Let's look at that in the Hebrew. Let's look at that Hebrew word. H6565. And look at this. He hath broken me asunder. It says to break, to frustrate. So he hath broken me asunder, meaning he's going to break down the people mentally. And break down the people mentally by frustrating them, making everything a hassle, everything an inconvenience. Everything is so difficult. And then you know how frustrated people was during the pandemic lockdowns. This one sound way worse. Well, I really don't give a damn, but for the American people, it sound bad for y'all. And people talking about they'd never go through another lockdown again. But this is all an effort to set up the people for his mark, which is the RFID market chip. Because this is about control. People gonna have all their liberties taken away anyway until they get the mark. That's Revelation 13 and 17. He can't buy or sell unless he receive a mark. But yeah, this is about frustrating the people, breaking the minds of the people, shaking the people mentally. Now, I want to get this next video. So keep in mind, Esau want to break down the people mentally by frustrating them. Now let's look at this. It say energy lockdowns. Well, we want to read what it says at the top. It's going to give like 20 things that will come from an energy lockdown. But check this out. You survive the COV with Wi-Fi, power, and food delivery. You can take away your Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats. In the energy lockdown. It says, now imagine a crisis without any of it. A crisis with no food delivery, no power, no Wi-Fi, no video games, no social media, no phones. Nationwide power cuts. Entire cities go dark within hours. Traffic lights fail, elevators stop. That's why I mess with elevators. And night turns into complete blackout chaos. Fuel supply collapse. Petrol pumps run dry fast. Emergency vehicles struggle. And daily commuting becomes impossible. Internet shutdown. UPI. Banking apps. Online services crash. Leaving the cashless population stuck overnight. Most people keep their money in the bank. So internet shutdown, grid failure. The only money you gonna have is whatever money you got on you. And most of people keep their money in the bank anyway. Or in Cash App. Water crisis. No electricity means pumps stop working, cutting off water supply in homes and apartments within a day. That's Job 16:12. I was at ease, but it broken me asunder. That's the thing too. Grid failure, you just know when you hit the faucet, whatever you call it, the water faucet, you just know water gonna come out. You just know when you put your cup against the lever on the fridge, some ice gonna come out. One day you gonna hit it and ain't no ice gonna come out. One day you gonna turn the water on and ain't no water gonna come out. Food supply chain breaks, trucks halt, delivery stop, panic buying begins, grocery stores go empty rapidly. Oh, and we know what? Let me go there. Lord willing, I can get it real quick. I think this is Second Ezra's. It may be 6 and 22. Yup, it says, and suddenly the sown places shall appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. That's under these energy lockdowns. People gonna panic buy and they not gonna get restocked. And when people panic buy, the store is gonna be empty that day. The news tell you it's 2 to 3 days worth of food in the store. Man, that stuff gonna be gone in like 6-7 hours. Hospitals in crisis, generators work temporarily, but fuel shortages disrupt ICUs, surgeries, and life support systems. That's going on in Cuba right now. And then it says worse, medicine shortages. And that's going on in Cuba right now. That's coming to America. ATMs and cash flow halt, ATM shut down, banks struggle to operate, excess in money becomes a major problem. So everybody gonna go broke overnight. Communication blackout, mobile networks weaken or fail, making it hard to contact family or get reliable updates. People gonna be confused. The scripture spoke about great confusion. It spoke about the people being perplexed. They don't know what to do, how to think, and they lose themselves. That's why Job said, I was at ease, but he had broken me asunder. Meaning he's going to break the people down mentally by frustrating them. And then with no news, people not going to be able to contact one another. Most people don't see what's coming, so ain't nobody planning. So people going to be scrambling. And everybody going to make a wrong move. Anyways, that's enough of this. We're just going to let it play. And, can pause and read it if you wish. Job losses, ambulance, fire trucks, irrigation, crops suffer, food, electricity, shortages, surveillance system weakens, economic collapse. Anyways, that's the part I'm waiting on. Anyways, we got that. So let's jump here now. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter, and this what we read was Job 16:12. I was at ease, but he had broken me asunder. So this stuff is all being orchestrated from up top, but it's to break down the people to get them ready for that mark. This is Second Ezra chapter 15. We're gonna start at verse 16. For there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in that power. Here in America, the people ready to rise up. You got protesting, all the time. People upset with the government, with the Trump administration. They upset with America in general. But you see, ICE been snatching up the Northern Kingdom. They've been shooting you white people, so-called Edomites. They've been harassing you Americans. They chasing you out of school. They chasing you at your job. They snatch you up at their airport. They harassing you at the stoplight. Trump raising the price of everything. And you people still ain't did nothing. But what's going to bring this sedition among men? What's going to bring sedition against the U.S. government by the American people? It might be these energy lockdowns. That's one thing America refused to go through again. And imagine being told, based on a license plate, they can only drive 3 or 4 days per week. And they gotta pretty much work from home if they're able to. And when they at home, they can only use so much electricity throughout the day. That sound like that'll finally get the people active. Because Trump been picking at you people since he been back in office, and you people ain't did nothing yet. And that's why they had ICE kill them 2 Edomites, or 3, however many they killed. He couldn't get the so-called Mexican and Latino people to really rise up. He just knew you Edomites was gonna rise up when the white woman got shot. Y'all didn't rise up. These energy lockdowns might do it. And it goes on to say, a man shall desire to go to a city and shall not be able. We know it's going to be because all hell breaks loose, but what's going to really get the all hell to break loose? It might be these energy lockdowns. Grid failure, grid shut down every night. People ain't got no air conditioning in the summer. People, cellular devices ain't working. That might call that sedition among men. You got to take away, these distractions for the people to start dealing with reality. As long as they got a cell phone and some fast food and some TV and some social media, the people ain't gonna never do nothing. But these energy lockdowns take all that away. That may be what bring that sedition to what? And cities gonna be shut down, martial law, but this talking about them energy lockdowns as well. For because of the pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, the men shall be afraid. So this is the after effect. But what's gonna lead to that? What's gonna lead to the cities being shut down? The energy lockdowns is the beginning of it, but like they say, it's a soft siege. The hard siege is going to be martial law. So in order for something to go from soft to hard, well, it called the energy lockdowns a soft siege, meaning something harder is coming after. That's that martial law. So a man should desire to go to a city and shall not be able. You see how much trouble they're having at the airport. So for everybody thought they were just gonna drive more, think again. Everybody about to be flying less and driving less, being idle. This is the book of Amos 2:14. Actually, we're going to get this real quick. Ecclesiastes 12 and 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets. Why? Because people working from home. People can't drive every day. Business is slow with not that many people out. You know, and businesses can only use so much energy. So restaurants ain't gonna be running all day. Stores ain't gonna be open all day, using all that energy. The door should be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. Grinding, when you look at it in the Hebrew, it says employment. So when somebody say they on a grind, employment gonna be low. It says, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. So the streets in America gonna be quiet. No more the sound of heavy traffic. You know, heavy traffic, sirens, music, people blowing their horn. No more the sound of that. You're gonna wake up to the rise of the. You're gonna rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And this is the book of Amos chapter 2 verse 14. Therefore the flight shall perish from the swift, and the strong shall not strengthen his force, neither shall the mighty deliver himself. So that's why these energy lockdowns and travel restrictions are coming, because they know all hell about to break loose, and they want people to be stuck on lockdown already. But they said flight gonna perish from the swift. And we use this talking about the airport shutting down. People think they gonna fly out the country when all hell breaks loose. But the Lord said your ability to take flight is gonna perish. But let's look at this word flight in the Hebrew. Flight H4498. So flight, what it really means is to escape. So people not going to escape what's coming, either by catching a flight, trying to leave America. People not going to escape what's coming, because when they actually finally try to leave the country, it's going to be too late. But, you know, this could be catching flights or driving motor vehicles. Your ability to flight or escape or to try to run from what's coming, it's going to be taken away. The strong shall not strengthen his force, neither shall the mighty deliver himself. The mighty men, people with guns, militias, neither shall he that handleth the bow. Automatic weapons, semi-automatic weapons, assault rifles, and he that is swift of foot shall not deliver himself. Neither shall he that rideth the horse deliver himself. And what's that horse? That horsepower. Because don't nobody ride horses these days. But let's look up this word, rideth. Oh, shoot. Let's look up this word, rideth. Neither shall he that rideth. H7392. Let's go to the Strong's definition. And what it says, to ride on an animal or in a vehicle. He that is swift of foot shall not deliver himself, neither he that rideth. Not a horse, but a vehicle. So if you thought it's going to get on a motorcycle or a truck or a motor vehicle to escape what's coming, that's being taken away. That's what these energy lockdowns are for. That's what fuel rationing is going to be for. That's why you can only drive every other day. And they may or may not do it, but it only makes sense. He that is courageous among the mighty shall flee away naked in that day, saith the Lord. So everybody going to have a plan, but they all going to fail. But you see, your different options of escaping is slowly being taken away. First, the airports. Now, traveling by motor vehicle, that's being taken away as well. And this is the reason why. This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 16, verse 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. It's talking about the Israelites, over the Israelites. What's that burning wrath? The Department of War, Trump, ICE, P. Haig stuff. And they shall take away certain of you. Who the only people being snatched up by ICE? Is it not the Northern Kingdom? So-called, Mexicans, Guatemalans, Venezuelans, so-called Latin, Hispanic Americans. And who they gonna start taking away next? So-called Black Americans. They shall take away certain of you and feed you being idle. See that? That's being on an energy lockdown or some kind of lockdown. Pretty much not moving, stuck at the house. They shall take away certain of you and feed you being idle. So being idle, they're going to really start trying to snatch us up and take away certain of us. Pretty much everybody that's against the New World Order, but especially those who got the testimony of Yahweh Shai. It says with things offered unto idols. But see that? Take away certain of you and feed you, meaning give you that microchip, being idle. Because people can run and hide from ICE right now. But that's what these energy lockdowns are for, so that we can be idle. Now let's look at this word idle in the AI. Because this even surprised me. There's some stuff I didn't know. It says idle because we know idle means not moving. That's what the energy lockdowns are about. To take away people's ability, to freely travel, whether it be by airplane, helicopter, or motor vehicles on the ground. That means not moving. But let's look up what else idle can really mean. Idle refers to being inactive. So people just not moving in general, whether it's travel or whether it's for work or whether it's for leisure and free time. That's people being inactive, unemployed. People gonna work from home. People gonna lose jobs. Jobs gonna shut down because of the energy shortages. But see that? Being idle can go into being inactive or unemployed, unused or not in motion. People vehicles just gonna be sitting. People gonna be not in motion. They're gonna be stuck at home every other day. Yeah, so synonyms includes being inactive, unemployed. Inactive, unoccupied, unused, vacant, inoperative. America ain't gonna be operating like it is now. Broken down. But yeah, so they should take away certain of you and feed you being idle, meaning you stuck at home. You can only drive 3 days a week. You don't have a job or you work from home, that's you being idle. Unemployed, so you at home, that's you being idle. So that's the time when they really gonna come try to take away certain of us, mainly us that got this truth. So yeah, energy lockdowns, things to expect, as far as travel restrictions and fuel rationing, and how that could affect American life as things get worse and things like the power grid shut down. It'll affect how America operates on a day-to-day basis. But it's really about control, so they can come snatch you up and give you that microchip, which is that mark of the beast. So this all about control. When it happens, it's not gonna be random, but this been the goal the whole time. But Lord, and I forgot to mention, with energy lockdowns, grid failure, we got to get this. you gonna have what? Famine of the word. See, Cuba, they in the famine of the word right now. Unless they got power. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, I will send a famine in the land. Not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. Where do you mainly hear the word at? On YouTube, on the internet. So energy lockdowns, grid failure, limited use of electricity and Wi-Fi and internet and phone usage. Well, what that really is a famine of the word. So in these energy lockdowns, when they happen, you're not gonna be hearing this word as much. And during the energy lockdown, I mean, we don't know. You can only speculate. We might not be teaching no more. If you can only drive every other day, we won't know till we get there. But the famine of the word is approaching. We still may be teaching under the energy lockdowns, but it might not be as much. It may be here and there. We able to go live outside here and there. We able to upload a video here and there. But before there's a complete famine, things start to dry up. So the Lord gonna start drying his word up that's going out before he completely pulls the word back. And then when he pulls the word back, the Lord is done talking. They shall wander from the sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord and not find it. And this is a metaphor for the internet. Like you can surf the net like you surf the sea. And run, what do you run? The search engine. That's why the wheel be turning at the top of your screen to take you to your destination, which is whatever video or whatever web page you want to view. So yeah, energy lockdowns. That's what I ain't seen nobody talk about yet. Well, I guess the world wouldn't be talking about it, but that's the beginning of the famine of the word. So Lord, willing, that was informative. Till next time, Shalom.